In this video, we would like to discuss the effective and efficient use of a pumping unit in the oil field. But first of all, pumping unit, sucker rod pump, check pump, or hydraulic pumping unit is a method that used to suck up petroleum from inside the well to the ground in oil mining. In the pumping unit, there are important parts as shown in the following figures: prime mover, gear reducer, V-belt, crank, counterweight, pitman arm, Samson post, working beam, horse head, bridle, carrier bar, saddle bearing, equalizer, well head, stuffing box, polish rod, working barrel, plunger, traveling valve, and standing valve. In general, the way the pumping unit works is prime mover that produces rotational motion will be converted into an up and down motion by the pitman crank assembly system. Through the working beam, it is forwarded to the horse head and used as a straight up and down motion to move the plunger inside the well. During the upstroke, the plunger will move upwards and the pressure in the barrel will decrease until the pressure is empty. So the formation pressure will open the standing valve and the fluid will enter the barrel. During the downstroke, the standing valve will close, while the traveling valve will open and be pushed by liquid in the barrel. Then, the liquid will enter the tubing and be lifted because of the pump's surface motion. This process will continue until the pipe is filled with fluid and moves to the surface. Next is an analysis of the load characteristics of the pumping unit. The pumping unit has a very large load at start. After stabilizing, the remaining load is only 30% of the initial load. Then, the system will function stably depending on the configuration of the counterweight. If the selection of the counterweight is appropriate, the motor is always in electrical stability. However, if the selection is not suitable, the load characteristics are unstable as shown in the figure. Coming up, there are 5 main problems that can occur in the using of pumping unit. The first one is a high starting current. It is caused by the weight of the load at the beginning of the rotation. The next problem that can happen is the speed that cannot be regulated. It is causes the fluctuation of the load cannot be controlled efficiently. Afterwards, a very high maximum and minimum power fluctuation that can affect the total power capacity for the generator or transformer. In addition, the using of pumping unit can also cause mechanics to be damaged more easily because there are jogs when the motor starts. And when it's running, the torque cannot be controlled. The damage can be felt through a harsh sound that is heard. The next problem is a poor energy efficiency. It is due to the power source cannot be adjusted to match the load. As well as problems, there are needs that must be met in the smooth running of these applications. Firstly, the stroke time setting that required by the user to get a certain number of hikes in a certain time, and will not change even if the load conditions change to heavier or lighter. Sometimes, operators need to change parameters in the oil refinery process, such as speed, stroke times, and so on. Accordingly, it is necessary to store formulas that can facilitate the choice of these changes as needed. Next off is energy saving. It can be achieved by using an inverter, so that the control power to the motor can be regulated by the inverter as a motor drive. With the special functions that special inverter for pumping unit has, the desired energy saving performance can be maximally achieved. As well as the advancement of industrial technology 4.0, remote monitoring with actual time has become a necessity. Through remote monitoring, data can be accessed and downloaded, so it can be used as a reference for system performance analysis of production. Remote monitoring can be in the form of data or video, which can be accessed via PC or mobile phone. In order to complete and fulfill the needs of the pumping unit application, VEICHI AC100J Series inverter comes with a special function to support the pumping process, so it can run effectively and efficiently. VEICHI AC100J Series is an specially made inverter for pumping unit applications. Consequently, it has functions to support energy-saving performance, such as intermittent power supply, flexible control, negative power blockade, and auto energy-saving voltage lower, which can make the system work efficiently. Besides, operator requirements problems can be resolved with the acceleration adjustment function, which causes the starting current to not be high. In the flexible control and stroke time functions, there is a speed setting that can adjust performance and maximum energy use. In addition, the flexible control function can also make mechanical control more controllable by reducing a large range of load fluctuations. Actually, when it's running, the engine load is only about 30%. However, when the engine stops and starts running, the initial thrust load at stop is very high. Accordingly, when the motor is run in direct online or star delta, the mechanical motion will feel big and rough. By using an AC100J inverter, these problems will be overcome. As at start, the engine and the mechanics can run smoothly. With changing well conditions, the operator is required to change parameters in the inverter, including speed, acceleration, deceleration, and so on. If it's done by changing parameters one by one before running, it will be time-consuming and ineffective. However, VEICHI AC100J Inverter Series has provided the formula storage facility, so changes can be stored in a memory with a maximum of 8 memories. It can be selected through the 8-position selector switch when it's needed. Required time to perform one stroke time must be the same for each stroke, and not change even if there are changes in well conditions. The AC100J Inverter Series is equipped with the stroke times adjustment feature, which ensures a stable thrust time. With the condition of installing a proximity sensor or photo sensor on the machine, the sensor will turn on at one cycle. Therefore, the sensor can be used as a feedback on the inverter system to ensure the stroke times are always stable. When the moment of inertia happens, as a result of the motor rotation carrying the counterweight, the output power will be negative, which means the motor becomes a generator and there will be a reverse voltage from the motor to the drive or inverter. In this condition, with the intermittent power supply function on the AC100J inverter, the control drive will release the output and will recapture it when the motor speed drops to the value set in the inverter parameters. In addition, this function will also result in energy saving. Without using an inverter which has a flexible control function, the minimum and maximum range of power output will be very high. However, by activating the flexible control function in the AC100J inverter, the minimum and maximum range will be lower. As shown in the chart, when the function is activated, inverter will control the output frequency automatically to equip the output power to obtain the most efficient value. Installing the braking unit and resistor or regenerative unit to overcome the overvoltage due to the inertia load can cause additional costs in its procurement. However, the AC100J inverter provides an alternative solution that doesn't require additional costs to activate this function. When the motor becomes a generator, the positive and negative voltages increase. Then, it is compensated by the function by releasing the output like a free run, and it will recapture when the positive and negative voltages return to normal. Accordingly, trip over voltage doesn't occur. VEICHI AC100J inverter has special functions that can be applied not only to pumping unit or jack pump, but also to hydraulic pumping unit. Both types of pumps can utilize VEICHI AC100J inverter. VEICHI AC100J inverter has been installed more than 10,000 units, one of which is VEICHI AC100J application at the Daqing oil field in China. The following are photos from the installation, testing, and control panel of the Daqing oil field. Next is VEICHI AC100J application at Pertamina oil field in Jambi. Thank you for watching this video. For more information, please kindly visit our website.